Hey YouTube, hi, my name is Mark. This is Nixon Motorsports Garage. This channel is all about motorsports, from racing to exotic cars and even simulators. This video today is a walkthrough of the car finally assembled. If you followed along over the last few months, we've been working on a Motec conversion project. The car's finally put together and done, ready for the track. I want to show you what we've done and walk through this. So come on, let's get into it, all right? Okay, so let's do a little walkthrough of the car. You can see most of it's put together here. I'll put the bodywork on in a few minutes and show you what that looks like completed. Let's start here at the rear. If I can get in place here. So over here you'll see the differential underneath the all-in shocks. The car does have dampener sensors, so these are position sensors on top of the shocks themselves, again front and rear. Again, here's the diff. It's a Taylor diff mounted here. Here you're looking at the oil tank itself for the dry sump system. This is the 2017 ZX10 RR motor installed in the car. New airbox, new exhaust, new electronics, Motec and so on. So this gives you a nice and close look of what it looks like on the interior side of the car itself. If I pan over here, you'll see what I use for an oil cooler. I have a remote oil filter here, a canister base that I can swap around easily. Let's just roll forward and I'll go around the other side. You can see I have a camera mount up here. And rolling forward into the dash. Here you can see the steering wheel. This is a paddle shift steering, or paddle shift system, excuse me. So you have upshift and downshift here. When this is on, you have multiple different displays that you'll see here, your shift lights and so on. You have master power, you have ignition, start buttons over here, you have water and rain lights over here. Down below, if you can see this, that's a sway bar adjuster just for the front. I have one in the rear, but I disabled that for the moment. This is your fire system over here, and fire controls and such down here in the bottom. Okay, so this is what it looks like inside the cockpit. Here's an Ethernet jack to pull data from the car. These are various different radio antennas on top of the car. And for testing purposes, and I've just left them on, I use these tire temp, just one in the center, just for a good reference of tire temperature itself. Here's the front of the car. Again, I'll show you a video here in a while that has the car put together, and I'll have it running. These front wings on the flaps, I do have adjusters, quick adjusters, so if I need to make a quick change in the pits, I can do that here. The crew can do that for me. Scrolling down this side of the car, here you can see the water cooling system, the radiator itself. Here's the water pump, it's electric. This is just a valve to drain the fluids. And I do have my tire kickers installed here. This helps with some aero advantage, as you have wide tires, of course, punching hole through the air, right? Okay, so let's walk around the car. I'll point out a few things that might not be obvious, and try to give you a little explanation about why some things are a certain way in the car. Let's start here at the rear. The car is up on scales, but this gives you a real good look of the rear of the car. And if I point down here, this is the diffuser at the bottom of the car. This is made to increase downforce. And then rolling up here, you'll see the rear of the double element rear wing assembly. Both the lower and the upper are adjustable, so you can adjust the amount of drag and downforce that you're looking for. And here towards the rear of the car, you can see there's sway bars, there's catch cans, that's all that is for fluids and such. Rolling this way, now this car, let me back up a bit. This car currently has 8-inch front tires and 10-inch rear tires. The rules allow you to run up to 10-inch tires, and so you can play with whether it be 7-inch, 8-inch, 9, whatever you want to run. But that's what you see is these are Avon's 8s and 10s in the rear. And the engine cover's on. I'll take that off here in a minute, but just to point out a few things in here, you can see this little guy, there's a light on. That's a laser sensor for ride height. These are tripod axles. Here's the diff here embedded in the center. You can see the exhaust comes up this way. And these are, by the way, front and rear. They are 4-piston caliper brakes. And if you can appreciate this car will produce about 3 Gs in braking, which is pretty good. And this, in its current configuration, will produce about 3 Gs in lateral cornering capability, slightly above possibly, but right around 3 Gs is the cornering capability of this car. This car, with its aero package on it, produces, according to data, about 1,100 pounds of downforce. So for a car that weighs 1025 with driver and fuel, that's pretty good. It's a lot of downforce on the car. So if we point out a few more things, so these little guys here. So what is that? I call it a tire kicker, but basically it's an aero device. When you're punching a hole through the air, that actually helps deflect air around your rear tire, which is a big sail, of course, right? Trying to block or trying to create drag. So that's all this is. It's to try to channel air itself. And then here are your side pods. On this side, this is where the oil cooler is. So here's your inlet. The oil cooler is roughly in here. And then the rest of this is just to channel air, high-speed air, efficiently through the back of the car, and to get the diffuser working well. Okay. And if we roll up here a little bit, you can see the SmartyCam camera. I'll roll here into the dash or cockpit so you can see what this looks like. So this car, first of all, like all Formula cars actually, the seats themselves are custom molded to you, the driver. So they're one size, one driver type of thing, right? It's not a multi-purpose seat. So if I roll over here and look at the dash, talk about a few things. So the driver wheel itself, this is another Motec device. This is a D153 with a shift light module. And I don't have a lot of buttons on the wheel, but I have like radio, neutral, lockout, alarm, acknowledge, that type of thing. And then there's other switches on the left for like water pump and rain lights, ignition, control and things are on this side. And then if you can see where my hand is, here's your your bias for your brakes. So you can adjust your braking bias, and to the left down here, if you can see that is my sway bar adjustment. I removed the control for the rear. Just had issues getting that to work well. So this is just an adjuster for the front sway bar. And here's my fire control stuff over here. Hang on a second. So if I roll over to this side of the dash, you can see, well, sort of, in here is where I have my telemetry system. This is the regulated pneumatic control for my paddle shifters. And over here on the bottom is the SmartyCam control module right there, okay? And rolling forward, so the car has a couple antennas on it. You can see quite a few. So you have two antennas for telemetry. It gives you differential receiving capability that improves reception. Also have another 4G antenna. This car actually has a 4G hotspot in it for all of its networking, so that's why that's there. And if you're wondering what this little guy is, that's just for your radio. So looking at the front wing, this is another highly developed wing. Works well. I do have quick adjusters on the flaps, so if I needed to make a small change very quickly in the pits, I can do that. And if you've noticed, the car has these funny looking things on the tires in the front, and the rear actually have theirs as well, but they're a little more hidden. I just have a single channel for tire temperature, so I can actually, with data, I can determine at least basic parameters of how well the tires are working, okay? So that's the car. Just do a little walk around here for you so you can see it as I just do a little walk around for you. So it's been a long project, right? This Motec conversion effort project that started last November has been a lot of work, way more than I expected. And I've done some big projects in the past. This was a good undertaking, from ripping out all the wiring, ripping out all the electronics in the car, practically rebuilding the car in many shapes or forms, right? And after that, of course, then having to take the engine up to the builder up in Washington, you know, bring out an expert from Motec, you know, tune the engine, you know, get basically the engine package as a whole working well, and then from there, assemble the car, get all the bits and pieces together, and that's what we've got here today, ready for the track. So it's been a long project. I just want to thank you for watching this video, for taking the time, for providing comments and input. I really appreciate that, and I try to be as responsive as I can. So keep watching, tell your friends, follow along, because we will be adding videos now that we are prepping to get the car on track. So really quick, you'll see videos on the installation, kind of shakedown laps that will be coming up next week. Following that, there'll be multiple days of testing and videos for that as well. And then to wrap up, in 1st of May, actually 7th, 8th, and 9th, will be my first race this season. So definitely a slow start, but this is a US Majors, a doubleheader. I'm going to bring you along in that whole journey as well. So you see all the trials, all the frustrations, all the headaches, all the joy, hopefully, right? But I'll bring you along with that as well. I think you'll enjoy that. So that's it today. Again, thank you for watching, and we will talk soon. Ciao.